welcome back to our second YouTube yoga video here. If you did the first one, I hope you really liked it. It was more of a beginner basic pose. So if you're interested in doing that one, I can link it below. But today will be geared more towards the intermediate practicer. But we'll kind of work our way up there, and I'll give more beginner modifications at the beginning. So if you need to stick with those, please do it. But it's a class, it's joyful, it's heart-opening, a little creative with the transitions, and then we'll be working up to camel and wheel pose, so definitely some heart-opening poses at the end. So we'll get started in this kneeling position again, and then if you can, I want you to tuck your toes under and rest your glutes on your heels here. So stretch the back of your feet. And then on an inhale, you'll sweep your arms out to the side, lift your chest up to the ceiling. And then on an exhale, you'll round in and give yourself a little hug here. Inhale, expand out. Exhale, move in. Exhale, lift your chest up, big breath. Exhale, and keep switching whichever arm is on top here. Round through the mid-back. Last one, inhale up, and exhale, give yourself a hug. Okay, we're gonna move into tabletop pose, and we'll start with a nice still pose here. So shoulders stacked over wrists, hips stacked over knees, nice straight spine. You can keep the toes up or down. And just spend 5 breaths here. Lengthening from your tailbone all the way through the crown of your head. Draw the navel and the ribs in on the exhale. Okay, so for the next 5 breaths, I want you to flip your hands over so your fingertips are now pointing towards your knees. And then you're going to take whatever shape feels good here in this tabletop position. So you can do cat-cow. You can just sway your hips from side to side. You can do kind of a barrel roll of your chest. Just warming up the body. Go the other direction if you're doing rolls. One more breath here. Okay, flip the hands back over and push your way into downward facing dog. So since it's our first one, you might be kind of tight. Keep a bend in your knee if you need. If not, you can work towards melting the heels towards the mat, but just prioritize your spine as opposed to straightening out your knees. So 5 still breaths here. Relax the shoulders from the ears. Rotate the elbows to face forward and screw the hands into the mat. One more still breath. Okay, now we're going to do 5 breaths of whatever you want again. So walk out your dog. You can kind of do some rolls through your spine again. You can even lift one arm on the other side. 2 more breaths. Okay, so we're coming into side plank. If you're more of a beginner, you can drop onto the knee and just do this. But otherwise, I want you to put the weight in your left hand and your left foot, and then rotate your torso to the right side of the mat so that your arm lifts. And for this specific plank, I want you to plant your right foot in front of your left instead of stacking them. Because we're going to bend in on the exhale. On the inhale, I want you to expand out, straighten through the arm. Exhale, we'll do this 2 more times. Bend in. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend in. Inhale, straighten. We'll come into the other side. And we'll switch the way we're doing our breath. So left foot stacks in front of right. Spend a few breaths just in side plank first. Arm can be wherever you want. You can drop onto your knee if you need. So now we'll inhale to bend in. And then exhale to expand. Straighten, reach that left arm up and overhead. Think of creating more of an arch with your body here. Good. Back to regular plank. And then step the feet up into Malasana squat. So option to put a block underneath your bottom if you need. Otherwise, we'll start by moving into whatever shape feels good. So you can kind of roll onto your toes, swaying from side to side. You can curl forward. You can expand upward, whatever feels good. Toes point out, heels are in. 2 more breaths, just moving here. Okay, I want you to settle into still shape now. Elbows push out against the knees, knees push in towards the elbows, chest lifts. Bring your left fingertips out to the side and expand the right hand up so you're opening up your chest towards the right. And then if you want, you can hook your left arm around the left knee and come into a bind here. 3 breaths. Good, slowly release. Come back out the way you came in. 1 breath to just lengthen the spine. And we'll go to the other side. So right fingertips out to the side. Open up the chest to the left. Option to reach around for a bind. Inhale to lengthen the spine a bit, and exhale to twist it further. Okay. So we'll move into a couple rounds of a half sun salutation. So point those toes in now, feet are neutral, and just come into a forward fold. Bend the knees as much as you need. On the inhale, flat back. You can come onto your fingertips, you can come onto your shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead, stand up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, cactus the arms out to the side. And lift the chest. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, straight spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, cactus. Pull the chest to the ceiling. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, come in towards your center. Exhale, arms cactus, chest lifts. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then you're going to step back into a downward facing dog. Sweep the right leg up towards the ceiling. Keep the pelvis neutral, so you're not going to open up here. Just stay straight, and then on the exhale, shift forward into plank. right knee touches the right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. This time you're gonna bend your knee and open up your hip. And exhale, plant the right foot between the hands. Lower the left knee down. You can use a blanket if you need. And come into low lunge. Sink the hips forward. Keep the right knee stacked over the right ankle. You're gonna bend your left knee so the heel comes in towards the bottom. We're coming into a twist. So left hand goes on the outside of the right knee. Twist open to the right, and right hand can grab that left ankle, foot, toe. Okay. Exhale, release into half splits. So straighten the right leg, shift the hips back. Inhale to lengthen the spine, exhale to fold over that right leg. Inhale, shift forward, pick up that right foot, move from tabletop, and then back to downward facing dog. One breath here. Inhale, sweep the left foot up towards the ceiling, three-legged dog. Hips are neutral. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale, bend the knee and open up the hip. Exhale, plant the left foot between the hands. Lower the right knee down for a low lunge. Hands come up onto the left knee to start and just sink the hips forward. Bend the right knee. Heel comes in towards the bottom. Right hand on the outside of the left knee, and then twist open towards the left. Left hand grabs that left ankle or right ankle. Inhale, crown of the head goes towards the ceiling. Create length, and then exhale to twist deeper. Exhale, release gently. You can scoot your right knee back a little bit, straighten into a half split here. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Hands plant, come back into tabletop pose. We'll reset with a little cat-cow. So inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the chin towards the ceiling. Elbows rotate forward. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the tailbone and chin. One more. Cow on the inhale. And cat on the exhale. Come back to a straight spine. You can wiggle the hips from side to side. And then find stillness. We're going to move into a modified side plank to wild thing. So with the right side first, you're going to put your weight into the right hand. Kickstand your right foot out to the side. And then open up so your hips and your chest face the left side of the mat. Again, that right foot has rotated out so it can provide more balance for you. And then you're going to reach the left arm up and overhead over the ear. And then I'm going to scoot so I don't ruin my plants, but you're going to lift your left leg off the mat, bend that left knee, pull the left heel in towards the glute, and then left hand can come back and capture that left ankle. Take a few breaths here. Inhale to expand the chest. And exhale, kind of kick that left foot back into the hand to open up through that left hip flexor more. From here, gently release your grasp. And then you're gonna come into a modified wild thing. So hips will rotate even more towards the ceiling. Left toes plant behind you. Left arm reaches up overhead. Feel a nice stretch through the left side ribs. Good. And then come back to neutral. Take one cat-cow to reset. We're gonna go into the other side. So left foot kickstands out to the side. Weight goes into the left palm and the left knee. And then expand the right arm up to the ceiling and then over the ear. From here, again, I'm gonna scoot. You'll lift your right foot off the mat. Create length from your fingertips down to your toe tips. And then bend your right heel into the glute. Reach back with your hand and capture that ankle. Inhale to broaden through the collarbones. And exhale, kind of kick back into that hand. You should feel this a ton on the front and side of your hip. Good, gently release. Come back to neutral. One cat-cow. And then push back into down dog. We're gonna move through that first flow again, but a little quicker. So take one more breath. Inhale, right leg sweeps up towards the ceiling. Exhale, right knee to right elbow, shift forward into plank. Inhale, three-legged dog, open the hip. Exhale, plant that right foot between the hands, lower into low lunge. Inhale, exhale, let the hips sink. Just one breath here. Bend the right knee in, left knee in, and then twist open to the right. Grab onto that left ankle if you can. Exhale, release, fold forward into a half split. Just one full breath here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, shift forward, plant through both hands, tabletop, and then back to down dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog, bend the knee, open the hip. Exhale, shift forward, plant the left foot, lower the right knee, low lunge. Inhale to create length. Exhale to sink deeper. Inhale, move that right heel towards the right glute. Right hand on the outside of the left knee and twist open to the left. Gently release. I don't want you to just plop your foot down. I want you to actively be using your hamstring so that when you let go, you can slowly release it down. Come into a half split. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepen. Good. Come into tabletop again. Reset with a nice cat-cow. From tabletop, make sure those toes are tucked under, shift the hips back into down dog. Should be feeling a little looser now. Maybe your heels can come towards the ground. Still send breath into the backs of your legs. On the inhale, you'll step your right foot forward, pretty much between the hands, and then the left foot should be 3 or 4 feet behind the right. Right toes are pointing straight ahead, left toes are pointing out at an angle. So this will be pyramid pose. You can use 2 blocks on the side if you need a little more length here. But on the inhale, Straight spine. On the exhale, fold in. Two more breaths like that. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, fold. So during this next part, I want you to keep your hips neutral. Keep them facing forward the whole time. Don't let them open up to the side. If they open up to the side, that's a triangle. I want to stay in pyramid here. So you'll put your right fingertips kind of on top of your foot here. Inhale, lift the left arm up to the ceiling. Again, use a block if you need for more balance or space. So inhale, rotate open to the left. Exhale, plant the left hand, and then lift the right hand up towards the ceiling. Should feel a little stickier here, not as much space. Two more times like that. Inhale to expand. Exhale to lower. Inhale, open up to the right. Lower. One more time. Keep that pelvis facing forward. Gaze can follow the fingertips if you can. Okay, you're gonna plant your hands in front of your right foot. Rotate the left toes forward, pluck the right foot up, and we're gonna flip over into a wild thing. So left shoulder is really strong here, don't let it sink in. Left leg should be straight. Right arm is sweeping over the right ear. We're gonna move with this wild thing, so you can bend in, hand can kind of guard the face here, and then on an exhale you can really expand and open up. Inhale, bend in, just like our side plank. Exhale, open up. One more of these. Good. Flip back over into a plank pose. Send the hips back to down dog. During that wild thing, feel free to go back to that side plank that we started with instead. On your next inhale, come into pyramid on the left. So left toes point forward, right toes angle out to the side. Pelvis faces forward. Inhale for length, exhale to fold. Now you're going to put the left hand on top of the left foot. Keep that right hip shifting forward, rotating forward, and then you're going to open and expand through the right hand up towards the ceiling. Exhale, plant the right hand, lift the left. Two more times. Inhale to reach. Exhale, come back to center. So keeping the pelvis straight, make sure you're twisting through your mid-back or your thoracic spine, as opposed to most of it through the low back. Good. Plant both hands, rotate those right toes forward, pluck the left foot up and over into wild thing. Snap, crackle, pop. So we'll do opposite with the breath now. So exhale to bend in. Inhale to expand out. Exhale, bend in. Exhale, straighten that right leg. And then flip back over into plank and shift back into down dog. We're going to do that flow one more time. Take one more breath to reset here. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Three-legged dog, exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Exhale, plant, right foot in between the hands, lower the left knee, low lunge. Instead of twisting this time, you're gonna bring your left heel into the bottom actively. See how my own leg is doing that. And then you're gonna reach the arms back behind you and try to capture the left foot, the left ankle. You can kind of use a counterbalance here to open up your shoulders. So you can inhale, squeeze the left heel even closer to the glute, and then on the exhale you can kind of pull it back and give yourself leverage to open those shoulders. Good. Gently release, shift forward, straighten the right leg into a half split. Plant the hands, come through tabletop, and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, three-legged dog on the left. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Exhale, plant left foot, lower right knee, come to low lunge. So instead of twisting, you're going to actively bring your right heel into your bottom. Hands reach around back. Grab that foot, ankle, toe. Lower the shoulders from the ears, don't be up here. Broaden through the collarbone. And then you can kick your foot backwards to try to open up those shoulders more. Gently release. If you let go, your foot should stay there. And then shift back into half splits. Okay, plant the hands, come back to the tabletop. We're gonna move into some deeper heart openers. But before that, I wanna come into puppy pose to open up the shoulders a little more. So you'll reach your hands, walk them out to the very end of the mat, and then you'll lower your chest down to the mat. Hips stay stacked over knees. So this pose can be very passive, but I want you to push through both palms and act as if you're wrapping your outer shoulders down to really stretch into your lats here. So this is a more active puppy pose. My shoulders are really tight, but if you live in a more flexible body, you can make it a little harder, come up onto blocks and stretch even more into this. Couple more breaths in puppy pose, sink the chest down towards the mat. Slowly walk your hands back into a tabletop, and then we're going to move into camel. So we'll start kneeling on our knees. Hip points face forward. Toes can be untucked, or you can tuck them. I'm going to tuck mine. Now, camel, you could just collapse back and get there, but we're going to make it more mindful. So pretend you had a magnet on your heart, and that's just reaching up towards the ceiling. So as much as you collapse back, instead I want you to lift up through the chest. Or pretend you had like a beach ball behind you and you're trying to arch up and over it. So if your hands come out in cactus and this is what you do today, that's great. Otherwise, keep lifting the chest on an inhale and then arching further back on an exhale. To feel less of it in your low back, I want you to relax your glutes a little bit. It's okay to contract them, but don't really tighten them because that can pull on your low back. wherever you are, you can find your way into full camel. You're reaching back for the ankles. You can open up through the throat, just drop the head back. Three more breaths wherever you are. You should be able to breathe where you are. And then slowly come back out. Take a little counter twist to the left and then to the right. And then we're gonna meet back on your bottom and lay all the way down onto your back. You can pull up the knees to the chest and rock back and forth. Massage the lower back on the mat. Plant those heels into the ground. We're going to prepare for bridge. So feet are flat on the ground. If your arms are long enough, you might be able to reach your heels, but everyone's body is a little bit different. On an inhale, you're going to push through the heels, tighten the glutes a little bit, and lift the hip points up towards the ceiling. Start to shimmy your shoulders underneath you and interlace the fingers underneath your bottom. Spend a few breaths here. Hug the inner knees in towards each other. Don't let the knees splay out. Send breath into the mid-back and puff the chest closer to the chin. One more breath. You're going to slowly lower spinal segment by spinal segment, all the way down your pelvis. Bring your knees in, give them a hug. Roll from side to side again. Now we're going to come into wheel pose. So you'll start the same way. If you want to stay in bridge, that's great. Otherwise, from your bridge, instead of interlacing fingers underneath, you're going to bring hands right by your ears, fingertips point down. From here, push into both palms and roll onto the top of your head. Here you can make any adjustments that you need. And then on your next inhale, you're going to straighten your hands, straighten your arms, and push up into wheel pose. So to feel this less in the low back, again, relax the glutes a little bit. Pull the inner thighs in towards each other. And try to push the chest out through the shoulders. Whenever you're ready, you can come back down, lower onto the head, and then roll your spine down slowly. Hug the knees in. Roll from side to side. Windshield wiper the knees left and right. Just neutralize that low back. Feel free to pause here and do wheel pose again. Otherwise, we're going to roll onto our bellies for Sphinx pose. So elbows are stacked underneath shoulders, palms out in front of you. Relax the shoulders from the ears and broaden through the collarbone. Inner thighs rotate up towards the ceiling. Just let that lower back relax. Starting to cool down now, so that's good. On an inhale, bend your right knee, bring the heel in towards the glute. You're going to reach back with your right hand and pull it in a little closer for a nice quad stretch. So don't collapse down. Try to stay lifted, pushing through that left elbow. here, release that. Your right hand can come back down. You're gonna sweep your right knee up towards your side for a half frog. So your hip and your knee is kind of bent at a 90-degree angle, and you can lower down onto your hands. You should feel this on the inner thigh, the inner groin. This is where your breath is slowing down. Releasing from all that hard work. Those heart openers can cause you to kind of hold your breath sometimes and get worked up. So just release all that here. You're going to thread your left arm underneath your right shoulder, and then you're going to roll onto your left hip and open up into a spinal twist. So I want your right shoulder blade, both shoulder blades planted. If that means your knee can't touch the mat, that's okay. Right arm can be straight out to the side or cactus at a 90-degree bend. Inhale to lengthen from the tips of your toes all the way through the crown of your head, and exhale to deepen into the twist a little more. Good. Slowly mosey back on over into Sphinx pose. Nice releasing breaths. You're going to pull the left knee or the left heel into the left glute. Reach back for a nice quad stretch. So your right hand can be on your shin, or your left hand, shin, ankle, toes. And then open up through the chest too. So you should feel this on the front of your shoulder as well as the front of your left thigh. Slowly release. Sweep that left knee up towards your side, bent at a 90-degree angle. And you're going to lower into frog pose, half frog. Just let your bones sink. I find myself still tense, and just let it drop into the mat. Nothing should be holding on here or tensing. There's no need. Thread that right arm underneath the left shoulder, roll onto your right hip, and open up into a spinal twist. Twisting is so nice after back bending. Feels really good. Right hand can go on the outside of the left knee if you want to deepen by using some pressure. Again, relax the shoulders away from the ears. Try to make this as passive as possible. One more big breath. And then you're going to roll all the way onto your back. We're coming into Shavasana. But I want you to grab the block. You don't have to do it that way, but that's what happened. And you're gonna plant it under your mid back. So this area, I don't want it under the low back. Right here, we're gonna open up through the chest still during our Shavasana. So in sort of a propped up fish pose. So let the bottom of the block go below the bottom of the shoulder blades, and then you can grab your other block at the top for a little pillow for your head. Alright, our legs just straighten out down below. Relax the arms at the side and just come into a heart opener that you can relax into. I know heart openers are really hard. It takes a lot of effort. It can take strain on the low back if you're just not there yet. So this is a more gentle version. And don't skip this part. This is your rest. This is what you earned. This is where you get to reflect on what you just did. Feeling that pulsating, that beating of your heart that was just exposed and expanded and opened. Feel the breath move from the belly through the ribs and all the way to the chest so it does reach up towards your heart. Feel the heartbeat start to slow. The breath start to slow. I find that with doing camel pose, wheel pose, wild thing, they're definitely effortful. And it takes some warm up, takes some hard work to get there. They can feel vulnerable. You're exposing your chest, you're exposing your throat. You have to use your breath. But afterwards I feel really open and light. Take 3 more breaths. Slowly, on your own time, you can lift your head. You can roll to one side, however you want to come out of this. And then we'll meet back seated at the center of your mat. One more nice inhale, lift the chest. Exhale into a normal, relaxed pose here. So I hope you can take some of that openness, some of that vulnerability, some of that lightness throughout the rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed this class. Let me know what else you want to see. And thanks for joining me. Have a good day. Namaste.